Welcome to the Opinionated Benchwarmers podcast, episode 164. Your opinionated benchwarmers are back to do what we do best, and that's discuss sports. Got my brother Ramon Hardy in here. Got Carlos Burrell, as always, in here. The voice you're hearing right now is Rob, and welcome to the YouTube channel as well. But as I always like to start off, I like to ask my brothers how they doing, man. How y'all fellas doing today?
Look, man, y'all's giving me so much trouble about now that we on YouTube. And the first thing you do is get on here and call our full government name. That's brand new, man. I ain't never seen that
I
before.
was thinking the
Man,
I
same
ain't never
thing.
seen
I
my
that.
was thinking
bad,
the
bro.
same
I
thing.
thought y'all want to stop it, bro. I thought y'all had your names on there at first.
No, no, no. Keep it
Nah,
rolling, man.
I
Keep
got
it.
my government name
No,
on
no,
here.
no. Keep it rolling, my brother.
nah, I was definitely thinking the same thing. Then I was like, he didn't fully say his, but then I ended up seeing his name on his block. So I was like, okay, well they'll see it that way. But definitely kind of business as usual, man. It's been a good day. Nothing like, of course, I always have an opportunity to record with my brothers. And so, like I always say, I'm not trying to hold it at all, man. Not trying to hold it with an intro. We can jump straight into it.
Yeah, we appreciate the love and support that we've been receiving thus far. As I always like to say, follow us on the _benchwarmers on Twitter and Instagram. And you also can start to subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search Opinionated Benchwarmers. For the people that's listening to the audio recording, welcome to the channel as always, man. Hopefully we can get some more content up there that you like to see. But guys, we're gonna jump right into it, man. The NBA playoffs, the first round is finally over. We touched on some of that last week. We're not gonna touch on the Lakers anymore. We probably will talk about the Lakers coach search in a little bit, but outside of that, I think we've dissected enough of Lakers playoff run. And we talked about the emergence of Anthony Edwards, which I mean, I hate to keep we could start right there. I hate to keep beating a dead horse here, but I mean, he dropped 40 in his debut against the Nuggets, which was a team that we struggled against. I mean, Anthony Edwards has been on a tear. I think I'm ready to say it. I was hesitant last episode. I think this gentleman has arrived into superstardom. I do think that he has done enough at this point, and the way that he made the Nuggets look and the way that the Nuggets did not have any type of answer for him or any adjustment for him, I think it's time to really, really narrow it down and say, hey, look, this guy, I'm not quite ready to say he's MJ, but I will say that his mentality and what he brings to the game, like we said last episode, is very, very rare. And he's only 22 years old, gentlemen.
Yeah, no, I'll just say for the listeners, we are recording this on a Monday and they do play tonight. So as you're hearing this
Yeah,
before the game.
yeah.
So he better not
Disclaimer,
embarrass us.
right? He just
Just a
come out and give
disclaimer
like
out there.
10 point performance or something.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I would say he's arrived. I think in that Phoenix series when he was playing his idol and he showed up in big time, and just bucket after bucket. And he did the same thing game one, just completely closed them out. You even heard Jamal on the commentating saying, "Man, that fadeaway remind me of somebody." Everybody knew who he was talking about, but everybody was afraid to say it. But I'll say it, his game does look like MJ's a lot. A lot of things that he do and his movement and his athletic ability does remind you of MJ. I know there's only going to be one MJ and that nobody likes to compare that, but the dude is here. And that 22, that is scary, is what he's doing. And I would say this, and I tweeted this, if he knock off the Denver Nuggets, this is his league. This is absolutely his league. You talking about a team that was a championship team last year, a team that made the Lakers look foolish, that you're in-season champions this year. If he knock out the Denver Nuggets this series, I'm going ahead and crown him the face of the league.
I appreciate the little shout out for the in-season tournament champs right there that you threw in there. But when you said
Hey man, we gotta celebrate something.
right, we leaving with something, huh? We leaving with something. But when you said that 22 or younger, man, well, at his age of 22 years old, it made me think about something that I saw floating on social media that he's the first 22-year-old or 22 or younger to have consecutive 40-point games since Kobe. So shout out to one of the guys that he, of course, is getting compared to because, of course, anytime pretty much you start comparing to MJ, you think about the likes of Kobe as well, too. And I think the main thing, not just, talking about the way that his game is structured, the way that he plays, his style of play, but it's just that dog in him, man. Like he has that killer will, that killer mentality. And I know it was something that we talked about on previous podcasts of almost feeling like, okay, that style of play is kind of gone. Those kind of killers of old school mentality is kind of gone. And now you see this guy, you see him bringing it back. So I feel like Anthony Edwards is almost becoming that throwback, and he's very quickly turning into maybe my favorite player in the league just because of seeing that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, he did his thing, and he's not ducking any smoke. He's definitely one of my favorite young players. He's becoming one of my favorite young players in the league, and I agree with Los. I think this league is his for the taking, and I think that he's there, man. He's arrived. No more saying he's coming. He's here. And to hear the gentleman speak in interviews and say that I'm nowhere near of how good I can be, that's almost scary because I really believe him when he says that. But anyway, I mean, on the other flip side, I mean, I don't think we talked about it too much. I don't know if the Clippers were eliminated at the time of our last recording, but I did want to talk about that. They have a brand new arena coming up next year, and here we are. I mean, you have Paul George, you have a nucleus of James Harden, and Zubac. I guess you could throw him in there, and then you got Russell Westbrook in there too. But this is a team that seems to not get over the hump. And I don't feel like it's Tyronn Lue's fault and Kawhi Leonard as well in there. But, it just seems like they thought that this was going to work. They shoved a boatload of money to Paul George and Kawhi, and they're not getting their return right now. And I know that they thought they'd be further along. But, due to injuries for both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, I don't think that, anybody would expect that. But, you would expect them to be further along than they are right now, which is if I was Ballmer, I would be concerned. Not only did you dump all this money into their pockets, but you dumped all this money into a brand new arena trying to separate yourself from the Lakers culture. And here you are again, bounced out the first round.
Yeah, I would say that I agree with that. I mean, you can't only think about all the money they poured into it. Think about all the assets they spent on getting a Paul George. And you look at who's leading, right? Who's leading who's the number one team in the West right now, and who is a MVP candidate. Probably won't get it. But when I think about Shai Gilgeous, Alexander, that's a guy you traded, right? To get a Paul George on your team. And so when you think about that, and how things aren't working for you, and the Thunder being in the second round right now, it's kind of one of those questions. Did you make the right decision? Do you blow this thing up and start young? Do you see what you can get for a Paul George or a Kawhi Leonard, which I think Paul George is a free agent, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he is.
So you look at those situations and you say, hey, do we restart this thing? Is this nucleus going to get it? Right now, it's not working. It's not working, and it's not looking like it's going to work. Just based on injuries and their health, and Kawhi Leonard, let's just call it what he is, man. Like he can't stay healthy. His knees aren't what they need to be right now, and it's unfortunate. But like we see with many athletes, when their bodies start breaking down, the Brandon Roys, the Ty Gurleys, when your body start breaking down, there's nothing you can do about it.
He got to
How
throw
did
a
this
rhyme
become
in
a
there.
Rams
Yeah, he always find an opportunity to throw.
We're not even
Hey,
talking
man.
football right now. Like we're talking
God,
basketball.
dog. Bro, you are sick.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all just
sick.
wasn't gonna let me speed past that.
No, bro.
You are sick,
what about
bro.
the Brandon? What about the Roy, bro?
For the
Nah.
new
Everybody said
listeners,
nothing about
for the
Big
new
Roy.
listeners in context, just so you're not lost, if you have listened to our podcast and our fans have, Los always strategically finds a way to throw a Ram reference in it, regardless of the sport. So if you continue to listen to us, you will notice that. It's not gonna stop because we pointed it out either.
Right.
It's not. But my point in all this is his body is shutting down. And his knees aren't what they need to be. He's had surgeries, and you got to start looking at this as a big picture, as a GM of, okay, what's next from us? Do we continue to keep hoping that Kawhi can stay healthy? Right now the answer is no.
Yeah. I think the tough place, though, when I really think about it and assessing the franchise, is as Rob was alluding to, the new arena that you're, having and unveiling. And so you're really stuck between a rock and a hard place. Conventional thinking would have you to think, okay, this is not working. We got to tear this down. We got to rebuild. We got to go and get assets and things of that sort to recoup as much as we can. But then on the other side of it, you going into a new arena, you done invested so much money, you got to sell tickets. You got to sell tickets when going into that new arena. And we know what sells tickets is stars, especially if you want to talk about, within kind of that specific area and region, stars are what bring the people to fill the seats. And so I think that they really are stuck, like I said, between a rock and a hard place. Do you do the thing that's smarter for the franchise long term to be able to build and have assets? Or do you do and think in the immediate future and say, as we go into this arena, we probably got to keep this nucleus. We got to at least keep some of the core. Now, I think to your point, you might be able to flip maybe one asset or so to see, okay, what can I get for this? But at this present time, who really is that one that's going to get you a lot on the market right now? As you mentioned, Paul George is a free agent. I think that James Harden is a free agent as well too, is up for a deal as well. And so really probably your best deal if you were going to move somebody is like a sign and trade with Paul George. Besides that, I don't think that James Harden is going to command much on the market at this point with Kawhi Leonard with his injury history. I don't think that he gets you a lot on the market. So they're really kind of stuck. And honestly, just speaking as a Lakers fan, I will turn this a little bit into a Lakers podcast. It kind of makes me a little happy on this end. So I hope they continue to struggle.
Obviously, and not to spend too much time here because we have more to discuss, but you look at Steve Ballmer as an owner, and he just seems like a charismatic, you know, I don't want to say he wants it to be all about him, but he kind of does. And he reminds me of how he reminds me of a dangerous Mark Cuban. Like Mark Cuban is very charismatic in his own right, but also Mark Cuban makes smart business decisions. And you see what he's built in Dallas. He brought Kyrie in, he drafted Luka Doncic, he drafted Dirk back in the day, he drafted Nash. He knows how to build a core team. But I've never seen an owner go at this far length to be like, okay, I'm gonna build this big old arena. Okay, yeah, Paul George, Kawhi, y'all the same type of player. I'm gonna team y'all up just because y'all superstars. I know y'all. It's just like, oh yeah, come on, James, you make no sense on our team at all, but you're a star. Come on, it just seems like to me, Ballmer needs to take a lot of blame for this, and he kind of reminds me of what a Mark Cuban would be if he was dangerous. But then he also reminds me of like Dallas owner. Uh Dang, who's
You talking
Dallas?
about Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones, yeah.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Jerry Jones.
Wait a minute. So y'all can go flip back and forth from sports, but when I do it, it's all right. All right,
Nah,
my
bro,
bad.
it's a trend with you, bro. But my point is that these owners, well, an owner like these types of owners in the Tom Jones or a Ballmer, they just are too hands on. And Mark Cuban has found a way to tread it softly where he is a little bit too much hands on. And I would like to see an owner, but they gotta start hiring some guys to make these decisions and stop being so hands on because they make a lot of mistakes, and we're seeing it with the Clippers. It's a complete mess. You're gonna have a beautiful arena over there and nothing to show for it. Harden not getting any younger. Kawhi's not getting any younger. Paul George not getting any younger. What you think he's just gonna miraculously become healthy? No, he is who he is. In fact, he'll probably have more injuries going forward. So I just think Ballmer is like really running that franchise in the ground. And I mimic your sentiments, Ramon. I love to see it as a Lakers fan. As we move along, we got to talk about the guy too who has arrived, and that's Jalen Brunson. I want to ask you guys, and I want you guys' thoughts on this. Jalen Brunson has led the Knicks, of course. I don't care if Embiid was beat up or whatever. 3 straight 40-point games to close out the 76ers in the first round. As he plays, as we're recording this, disclaimer on Monday night, he's facing the Indiana Pacers. But Jalen Brunson may be the greatest free agent signing of all time in the NBA.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I can't. I mean,
The greatest free agent sign.
I mean,
I
we'll
mean,
have to look
Shaq
over
was
the
a free
list.
agent at one time.
yeah, that Shaq pops up in my head. Yeah, and Shaq delivered three
Shaq got
chips.
signed, or did he get traded to the Lakers?
Nah, he was
He
signed.
signed. He
Yeah.
signed.
That's when why can't Jerry West opened up the checkbook, gave him a blank check basically.
And then you probably could put Kevin Durant up there. I mean, they only got one out of two, but they got two out of it, right?
All right. Now when you say bang
He
for
got
your
traded.
buck, who?
KD got traded to them.
No, he
Didn't he?
signed, didn't
Because
he?
Nah,
Harrison
he signed.
Barnes had
He
to get
signed.
out of the.
Nah, he signed.
Yeah, he signed.
Okay.
They ended up clearing the money. That's why they ended
Oh,
up getting rid of all
that's
those
why they
guys.
got rid of him. Okay,
Yep. And they
man.
still had Steph on that cost control contract then too.
Uh,
Yeah, that's how they
okay,
had the
maybe
money for him.
so. Maybe so. I mean, when I look at Brunson, I don't know how Dallas let him go. How they got. I don't know. Maybe he wants his own
He didn't
team.
really fit with Luca though. He needed the ball, you know what I'm saying?
He did. I mean, we could say the same thing about Kyrie, and he's figuring it out too. But my thing is, he is showing up. He got his own team, and he got his team to the second round right now. So I'll just say, the dude is a beast, man. And to look at him and his size and what he's doing at his size,
Without
it's not like
Julius
he's the biggest
Randle.
guy.
Without Julius
Without
Randle.
Julius Randle, yeah, I mean, without a lot of his pieces this year too. You know, you can talk about OG missing a big chunk of the playoffs. You can talk about Bogdanovich. He got knocked out. So you can think
Who?
about a lot of the guys. A lot of these guys got knocked off. So anyway, yeah, I'll say for sure, he
Yeah.
arrived.
Yeah, I think when you talk about it, like you said, he has arrived. It's been very impressive what he's done. To your point, from a free agency standpoint, I could buy it more if you said from a Knicks standpoint, if you said the greatest free agent signing in
Of all
Knicks
time.
history.
Of all time. Nope.
That is
All time.
that's a super hot take. Like
It may be though. I mean, the only way you could get me is that has a championship came out of it yet, and I could
bro,
defer there. I will defer that.
if you tell me Shaq
But
and Kevin Durant have both been free agents and been signed somewhere, you
I
can't.
know,
I, I can't give you Jalen Brunson being bigger than that.
but Brunson, the way he's changed, shifted the culture, the way he's led his team, the way this Knicks team is looking and playing, the way the fans are bought in again. Like I don't know, like the impact of his
You
signing
know,
is more than championships to me.
he kind of got a point. He kind of got a point on this because you think about Kevin Durant going to that team, he was already winning in the Warriors. You
Yeah,
think about the Lakers, they were already a team that has proved to be winning. The Knicks, I don't know when the last time they were winning playoff series and actually being good now. So in that thought process of changing it to a winning culture, sure. Those other guys, they were coming into semi-winning cultures, in my opinion. So he kind of got a point. So when he broke it down that way, he kind of got a point.
I'm gonna let y'all rock with that. I'm gonna stay on the other side of this. Just like we say, we opinionated bench warmers. I'm not rocking. I'm not rocking. But yes, he has been killing it in the playoffs. No knock on his game at all like that, man. He is really elevating himself into an elite class in the league. And I think he's gonna continue to do it. So but on the other piece, I'm not rocking quite.
I feel you, man. I feel you. So, yeah, as we continue to go through the second round, it should be interesting, just to see how Minnesota's gonna fare against the Nuggets. Any predictions? We did get on Anthony Edwards, but are there any predictions from you guys on the second round here?
Just from like a sheer winner standpoint, like we're not saying, are we saying games too? Amount of games or
I
just
mean,
sheer
whatever
winners?
you decide. You could do winners, you could do games, whatever you decide. Whatever floats your boat.
You want to give somebody else the floor first? Huh? Let's just go winners. Let's go winners. Let's go winners.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I kicking it
All
off
right.
or?
So I mean,
Okay.
I'll let y'all go to give y'all the matchups here for the listeners' sake.
Okay.
Okay, you got the Thunder and the Mavs. They'll get kicked off on tomorrow night. The Mavs will start off at home, the 1-5 matchup. Then you got the Wolves and the Nuggets, just like I mentioned. The Nuggets kicking off at home tonight as we record this on Monday night. And then we got the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Cavaliers, and they look pretty nasty in that 17-point comeback yesterday against the Celtics. And then you have the Pacers and the Knicks who are getting kicked off tonight as we record this on Monday night in New York. So those are the matchups, fellas. I want the predictions. Who do you have in the conference finals?
Okay. I'll go East first because I know to me one out of these four series just easy to pick. The rest of the three I'm still kind of deciding right now while I'm talking, which is why I'm giving myself a little chance to think.
I see. I
Right.
see. You're real smooth, bro. Real
Right.
smooth.
Right. But I'm rocking with the Celtics over the Cavs. I think that's the, to me, clear cut one. I know the Cavs won that game 7, as you mentioned, but this won't extend past 5 games. So I'm gonna take the Celtics, and I'm actually gonna take the Pacers to beat the Knicks. The
Mm.
Knicks are tough with Brunson, but I'm gonna take the Pacers. So I got a Celtics Pacers Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm gonna go with the Wolves. I think the Timberwolves is Anthony Edwards, man, that effect. And to me, they have that formula to beat. to beat Denver. So I'm gonna go with the Wolves there. And oh man, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Dallas. I'm gonna trust Luka and Kyrie, but I
Oh,
don't love it.
to knock the thunder off.
Yeah, I don't love it, but
Oh,
I'm rocking Luka and Kyrie.
okay. Okay. Los, you want to
That's
go?
very yeah, I'll go. I'll go Celtics in 5 games. I got Celtics in 5. I got the Knicks. I got the Knicks in 6. I got the Wolves in 5. And then I got man, this sucks because with this last matchup with the Dallas Mavericks and the Thunder, if I see one game, I can tell you who win the season. I know that's unfair,
Wait,
right?
not you doing the
Maybe not a
Shaq
full game.
method. Not you doing the Shaq method.
His uncle,
Let me watch
his twin. He want to do his twin
it.
method.
I just need to get a feel of the game. If I can see it, I'm like, all right, I know who. Just one half, not even a full game. But if I mean 7 games, and so I'm gonna go Thunder because of home court advantage. That's the only reason.
Okay. That's
Thunder in
it?
7.
All right. You did East and West, right? So all right, it's my turn. I guess I'm doing the same thing Ramon did. Nah, here, I mean the Nuggets and the Wolves. I mean, I think that the Nuggets are gonna have a tough time with the Wolves. They're not us. They can score with them, with the best of them, and the Wolves can lock down on defense when it's time. And I think we're going to learn a lot about Jokic. I want you guys to pay attention, listeners, to what we're about to see right now, because you're going to learn a lot about what Jokic is really made of. Because you have Cat and you have two big bodies, Pauls, to really deal with them. So I mean, I think that, but ultimately, I think it'll be close. I think it will probably go to 7 games. But I'm going Timberwolves as well in the Western Conference Finals. On the other matchup, I don't know. I think Kyrie and Luka has figured it out, and Kyrie has been very very masterful in these playoffs, and he is getting his. I know Luka is doing his 37-7, which is amazing in its own right. But when it comes to closing out games, he is who he was in Cleveland when he was with Braun. What Kyrie has figured it out, and I think that it's going to be a handful for the Thunder to really withstand that. So I'm going Mavs again. I don't think that it's going to be easy. So I will go Mavs in 6 there, and then on the Eastern side with the Pacers and the Knicks, I don't know. I'm sipping on Jalen Brunson Kool-Aid. I think that Jalen has just this X factor in him and this will to win. And I think that it matters in a series like this. I don't think Halliburton is as gritty as Jalen. And I think Jalen has a chip on his shoulder as well. So I think that he'll lead them to win this series. And then I think also Boston will make easy work out of Cleveland. I share the same sentiment as Ramon. I think that this will be over in 5 games. And yeah, so I got Celtics Cavs and I got Mavs and Timberwolves, which is a very ugly like matchup, like ugly like teams historically. But yeah, I got that.
And way to build them up just to tear them down.
No, it's just like Timberwolves. Like Timberwolves have not been good in our era. You know what I'm saying? Like they had been, but lo and behold, they're the best basketball team. And as you see this shift, I saw something interesting. As you see the shift, no LeBron, no Kawhi. I think the stat was that the top 20 scores in league history aren't in the playoffs. All got bounced out the first round, and it pointed to a shift in the NBA of the young stars. I've never seen it so evident.
And I think I saw something crazy, like it was in the single digits, but I think it was like 2 players above the age of 30 left in the playoffs right now. And that's
That's crazy.
Kyrie and
And
somebody
yep,
else. But it's like two to four, something like that.
yeah. I
It's a young
mean,
man's game, man.
so what do y'all think about that shift? I mean, it seemed like it happened so abruptly. Like it's been brewing for a while, but I mean, players obviously are getting better and better. And you look at, man, I was shocked the other day to see Jalen Brown and just to think about Jalen Brown and Tatum and how much experience they have in the playoffs. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, they're not even 30 yet, and they both have so much experience in the
Exactly.
playoffs. It's just It's just, I mean, it's just that time too. I mean, you can say these guys are literally in their primes right now, and all the guys, the OGs that we grew up knowing and knowing to be in the playoffs, knowing to be in the finals, their time, and you just slowly seeing that baton being handed off. Whether they want to accept it or not. It's just the little things, the athletic ability, of our guys. You know, Anthony Ayers taking over the game and beating KD. You know what I mean? Like LeBron getting rebounds, taking over him. Like LeBron would be snatching these rebounds and not giving up these second chances. And I'm a little frustrated. You can tell that's just a little frustration I got
Man,
on
let
the
it out,
court
bro.
about offensive rebounds he was giving
Safe
up.
space, bro. It's a safe space.
But you can really see the shift happening. I mean, it's fun, but like the OGs, it is kind of getting sad though. You seeing these greats, the KDs, the Stephen Currys, LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? These guys that we used to seeing compete. The Jimmy Butlers to an extent now, man. Like I know Jimmy's not as old as these guys, but he's starting to get banged up and missing time now. So, but it's starting to start. And Dame Lillard, starting to get banged up, and all these guys that we used to showing up and seeing playing on these big stages are now handing off the baton to the Tyler Halliburton, to uh,
Jalen Brunson,
uh,
Luca,
Jalen
Yeah.
Brunson, to
and
Shea
Luca.
Gilgeous
You
Alexander.
Alexander. That's who I was thinking about. We starting to see it really shift now, so it's just crazy.
yeah, I mean, I think you said it all. I think you touched on it really, really good. Los, you had something to add on there, Ramon?
Nah, man, y'all covered it. It's the changing of the guard, man. We seen a new era. And we it's kind of weird because as I guess fans of the NBA, are we kind of becoming the old heads a little bit at this
Yeah,
point?
we are, man. I can't imagine a league without KD and LeBron and
Look, man,
those guys and Kawhi
all
and
th look, all three of us are uncles now, bro. That's what's crazy.
Great Unc status. Great
Uncle
Unc
status,
status.
bro.
OG,
Hey,
OG,
it happened fast, man. But look, we all uncles now, man.
OG. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think we can shift on from that. I did have something else I wanted to kind of touch on. Can we touch on this real quickly, then we move on? But what do y'all think about Miami Heat owner telling Jimmy Butler if you're not on the court, he need to shut his mouth? I was like,
Yeah, I didn't
wow.
like that.
Is it him being just old? You know how older people just don't care what they say, or is
Yeah,
there something there, or are we overthinking it?
I I don't know. I didn't like it, because again, Jimmy is a grown man, and what he said was harmless. If he felt as if he was still on the court, they would have won that series. Jimmy has shown us that when he's healthy, that he can drag an AC to the finals, and he's done that before. So it's not like he was just talking to just talk, or if he was posting memes, whatever. Like that's the new age. Like get with the times, whatever. Like it's not harming anybody. If anything, you saying those words, he needs to shut his mouth. It's hurting you and your team. People are looking at that. Not only Jimmy, but other players that's coming there or potential free agents are looking at that like, whoa, is that how you talk and treat your players to the media publicly? Maybe you tell Jimmy that privately, but you don't tell the media that, and Jimmy got to hit that through the media. So I didn't like that at all, and I thought it was just very uh, distasteful, really.
Yeah, nah, honestly, that was gonna be my take as well too, is the message that it sends to all the other players out there that you really want to attract to your franchise. And ultimately too, like to me, you would want your star player to have that mentality. Like forget all
Exactly.
yeah, I would want him to think like that. I would want him to think that, okay, next time around, definitely when I'm there, y'all know what's up, and so I don't know. It was a little bit much for me as well too, but
And then Jimmy historically he would die on his shield. He's one of those players that when
yep.
he sits out a game, I know he's really really hurt because if not, he'll play hurt. So I thought it was distasteful as well. I share that same sentiment. But again, I think as you get older and he's been in this role for so long, it's like the Phil Jackson effect. You think about the things he used to say in his late age, but they just don't care anymore. They just don't have. They can't read the room. They're incapable of it. But as we move along, I did want to go jump into this though, because I said about our coaching. Obviously, since the last time we recorded, we predicted it kind of last episode called Lakers Go Hamless, and lo and behold, Dorian Ham is no longer a Laker head coach. I just want real quickly, would you guys like to see fill his shoes? Well, split his shoes because there are shoes to fill.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not going to be just one good coach. I mean, I think the dream scenario is Lou, right? Tyronn Lue. And I don't think that's happening. I think he's just going to get paid by the Clippers extended, right? But I think it's going to be, if we can't get that top guy, it's going to be a very experienced coach. Let's not go with inexperienced head coach. I'm not into the JJ Redick rumors that's out there. So I would say, let's just get a good staff, a championship, and a coach that's going to be respected by LeBron James and
AD.
Anthony Davis. As you sent us that clip today of no, they disrespecting him with the board. Like, you're not even coaching at this point,
Yeah,
man.
that's that.
You're
Yeah,
just there,
LeBron got to stop, and that's a different conversation for a different pod. But
Yeah,
we
we
gonna
gonna
talk
catch
about
that.
how
Yeah, yeah,
coachable is
yeah,
LeBron. We gonna talk about that on
yeah,
one of these pods.
yeah,
But go ahead,
yeah.
Reed.
We have to.
Yeah, nah, I mean, y'all have already kind of alluded to it. I really don't like the candidates that are out there right now because, as you mentioned, Ty Lue to me would be the guy. But I think that the Clippers are going to be, very serious on making sure they re-up with him. We've already seen what's happened to Jason Kidd, the payday that he got based upon his name being floated. I don't really love it, but maybe out of the names I saw, Budenholzer that used to coach Milwaukee and coached Atlanta, but I'm not really a big fan of any of those guys, honestly. So and maybe it'll be somebody that comes out of the blue and shocks us that's a viable candidate, or maybe we'll steal somebody from a franchise like a Nick Nurse or something like that. But none of the candidates right now really excite me.
Yeah, we all agree. We all on the same page. I agree. I want somebody. That somebody respects. Off the top of my head, like you said, Los, probably Coach Bud would be my favorite because he's defensive minded. I feel like we'll be a better team if we could stop somebody. But anyway, thanks again for hanging with us, man. Again, make sure you following us on O_benchwarmers on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast on all your favorite platforms that you like to listen to your podcast on. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, Opinionated Benchwarmers. Search it up, subscribe, like the video, share the video, show some love, man. That's how you can get our name out here. And until next time, we're out of here.
Later.